Klay Thompson possibly headed to the Orlando Magic, and I was definitely, I don't want to say I was wrong, but I may have miscalculated Joel Embiid. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk. I'm your host, Kwame Fisher Jones. Will be joined momentarily by my co-host for the moment, Everett Terry, aka Sports Talk Terry. So, Klay Thompson has been rumored to go. Here's the thing, bottom line. The Golden State Warriors are at a parallel. They're in a flux, they're at a crossroads. What to do with Klay Thompson? There was a lot of issues in the beginning of the year about whether or not Klay was a guy that could fit in their new lineup. They want to build around Jonathan Kuminga. They want to keep Steph Curry. There's a lot of different, shall we say, pots on the stove right now. What the Golden State Warriors want to do, but the one that's boiling the most, the one that's close to burning, is Klay Thompson. And allegedly, there's a rumor out there that Klay is going to be headed to the Orlando Magic. There's a deal on the table for the Orlando Magic and Klay to unite. They could be the missing shooter that they need, also provide a better leadership, something that they could have used sorely in this playoffs as they got slapped in the first two games by Cleveland and then eventually lost that series in seven. That was a series they could have won. I really, really hope this move works. I hope it happens. I hope Klay finds a way to go to the Orlando Magic. Not so much because it's anything against Golden State, but it would be great for basketball to see a guy who's got the injury history, but to see him turn around one franchise and what Golden State was before Klay arrived and before things, along with Mark Jackson and Draymond Green and obviously Steph Curry, and go down to Orlando and help Jamal Mosley turn that team into a formidable club. If Klay joins the Orlando Magic, they're first of all winning the Southeast Division. We no longer have to hear about heat culture because now there's a good team in that division. Has anyone else noticed that heat culture kind of runs parallel with no good teams in that division? Washington's a mess. Orlando's been a mess. It's the first year they've been a viable team. So you got Washington's a mess. Atlanta's all over the place. They've been bad for the last couple of years. Miami's thrived in a bad division, and they've only managed to win 45 and 50 games. So now you put a good team in there with Paulo Banchero, with the Wagner boys. You got to, and then you add Thompson with Jalen Suggs' toughness, with no Carter's toughness, Jamal Moses' basketball acumen. You've got a good, solid team ready to rock and roll. So I'm excited about that happening. What happens to Golden State after that, though? If they're allowing Klay to go, because the money, Orlando's obviously going to make the contract something where Golden State's going to have a hard time matching. It could be a poison pill that they slip in there, maybe making the third year a team option, pushing the deal up to about 80 million, 75 million. Where Golden State isn't going to want to eat that deal. Would Klay want to be the guy that kind of the straw that broke the Golden State's back? And then where does Golden State go after that? Do they decide, okay, we're going to move Draymond and Andrew Wiggins? Do they pursue the deal that we're hearing about Brandon Ingram for Andrew Wiggins, which is a deal that makes a lot of sense? If you're New Orleans, you could probably get a little bit more for Brandon Ingram. If you're in New Orleans, you could probably get something better than a guy who's missed a lot of games for personal reasons in the last few years. But going back to watching Klay leave, I'm rooting for this move to happen. I'm hoping that it, not because of what it would do to Golden State, because what it would mean in Orlando. You're adding a 17 game score. You're adding a guy that has been to the playoff wars. You're adding arguably 30 teams in the NBA. It's about 60 shooting guards in the NBA, roughly two per team. You're adding a top 20 shooting guard to your team, a guy that's one of the best defensive players in the NBA, a guy that can do some things for your roster. So I definitely think this is a move that can happen, and I'm hoping that it transpires. But then it begs the question: what happens to Golden State? And you don't want to speculate what they're going to do until you see Klay move, because Klay could decide he just wants to stay in Golden State. But then what do you do if you're the Warriors and you decide to keep him? Secretly, the Warriors probably in their back room, if you were to give them some liquor, the Warriors probably want Klay to take the deal and leave and make their decision easy. Jonathan Kuminga is rumored as an untouchable player. I don't see it. They whiffed on Moody. They've whiffed on Wiseman. Pajinski looks like a solid player. But you got a lot of solids and ifs right now going into one of the greatest players of all time's twilight years. And every time Draymond does something, we got to hear about how bad of a human being he is. So Klay holds the world of the Warriors in his hand, honestly. And it's great to watch if you're a basketball fan because you want to see him play with a title contender. And quiet as it's kept, this is between you and I. The Orlando Magic are the better basketball team. So he's going from the worst team to a better team with a better roster where he can be the player he is now and not have to chase the ghosts of last year. Not have to hear every time he misses a shot, oh, the old Klay is not going to be the old Klay. Orlando loves and wants the new Klay, the Klay he is now. Golden State is patronizing the new Klay, wishing for the old Klay to come back. And I don't see that happening. What he would bring to that dimension if Klay Thompson joins the Orlando Magic, barring any other circumstance, anything foreseen, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. I think the Orlando Magic are fighting for the Eastern Conference Final berth. I'll say that. If they just drop Klay Thompson right there. I'm joined now by my host, Sports Talk Terry. Just going over the possibilities of Klay Thompson joining the Orlando Magic and what it could mean, not just for basketball, not just for the Warriors, but what it would do for the Orlando Magic. And I just said, I think it puts them in contention for an Eastern Conference title. What say you? That's a hilarious face to me. Look, that's a hilarious face to me. So you don't agree that adding Klay Thompson makes them a formidable Eastern Conference club? Everett's on. Everett, your mic's on. You got to unmute yourself before you
Oh,
jump
I
in.
apologize. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I unfortunately I can't because I think you're about to tell me why I'm wrong. Go ahead.
Adding 35-year-old Klay Thompson, who looks like a shell of what he used to be, who had no legs under him and had no lift at all, to a team that's young and up and coming. No, he doesn't fit. At this point, Klay Thompson's a 8 to 12 minute per game guy anymore. He's not a
Really?
starter. He's not even a 6-man off your bench
Wow.
because his best skill is the ability to come in and knock down open shots. He's not Ray Allen, who never really sustained major injuries and could shoot till he was 40. Klay Thompson's had multiple knee and ankle injuries. He has no legs under him. He can't jump. He can't defend anymore. He's a turnstile now. So
Interesting.
what's the
Okay.
value that he brings you? He's basically what JJ Redick was at the back end of his career. What we all just talked about. The only thing JJ could do was
All right,
shoot. Now he can't even shoot.
Now you're just being disrespectful. So I got to interject here. How many points did Klay Thompson average last year?
Teens.
18.
Teens.
18 points a game.
Besides Steph, and who else was scoring? It wasn't going to be Draymond. They don't have anybody else to shoot.
It was supposed to be Wiggins. The team was in flux. The roster was all over the place. Hold on. The roster was all over the place. It was an unstable situation, unstable franchise. Wiggins was, you want to talk about Klay being a shell of what he was. Wiggins was supposed to take this major jump. Jonathan Kuminga was still waiting on this major jump. None of that transpired.
Kuminga's the only one who looked good.
I'm sorry?
Kuminga was the only one who looked good besides Steph. Kuminga looked great. He was averaging 20. After he said they started giving him minutes.
That's not the discussion. But he averaged 18 points in a role that at best could be defined as sporadic because sometimes he's coming off the bench, sometimes he wasn't playing. Now, I disagree with you that he's a turnstile. Is he an elite defender that he was before? No. But that's why the move makes sense because Orlando needs the new Klay. Orlando needs the guy that shoots 50% from two, the guy that shoots 40% from three, the guy that is.
He didn't shoot 40% from three.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He shot 39% from three this year. See, that's the thing.
That ain't 40.
That's okay. It's 1/10 off, but that's the thing. People want to have him chase ghosts. He can't be the guy that he was before. And as long as he's in Golden State, that's what he's chasing. But if he's in Orlando, Now you're talking about one of the best marksmen in the game, a guy that doesn't need to create his own shot because you have Panchero, you have Suggs, you have
And he
both the
can't
Wagner
anyway.
twins, but that was never his game. It was never his game. It was get to his spots. And you're playing in a division that offers Atlanta, Washington, although I'm still not out on Jordan Poole. That's a story for another day.
He's cooked.
Miami and Orlando. And I know I'm forgetting somebody, but that's irrelevant. And Charlotte, excuse me, in Charlotte. So that gives you Charlotte, Atlanta, and Washington. That's 15 wins right there. That's 15 wins. You're starting your season with 15 guaranteed wins. And let's say you split with Miami. That's 17 wins. You still haven't played the Brooklyn Nets. You still haven't played the Detroit Pistons. You still haven't played some of the downtrodden teams in the Eastern Conference. Yes, Virginia.
But they can beat those teams without Klay Thompson. They just did it this year, and that was the first year they took a leap. They can do that without Klay. Klay doesn't
Speaking
make
of
them
this year,
because
real quick.
Here's sure.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Because what I was going to say was, who does Klay help them beat? He doesn't help them beat Boston. He doesn't help them beat the Sixers if they figure it out. He doesn't help them beat Milwaukee. Who does adding Klay Thompson help the Orlando Magic beat? The Cavaliers? Okay, so they
I
get past the
disagree.
first round and lose in the second.
I think it does help them beat Milwaukee.
Stop it. Stop it.
Well, the reason why is Giannis has finished the last 2 seasons injured.
Exactly.
I wonder if he's going to be healthy enough. That's why. It's not because and you know my affection for Giannis and affection for Dame. But when you add a young team that's going to get up, I mean, we saw it with Indiana. It helps them beat Indiana, but when you see it with Indiana gets up, up and down the court on you.
And
If
Klay
you
don't
have
get
a
up and
guy,
down nobody's court anymore.
no, I disagree. Klay can trail. He's not. See, it's tough to have a conversation. Not saying. I'm speaking in general. I'm speaking in general terms. It's tough to have a conversation about Klay because people instantly revert back to what he used to be, and that's not what. No one's debating that. He's not that player anymore. But the guy that I watched for about 30 or some games this year is still one of them. I'll give you an example. Right? And I'm going to use a player whose name, right, is going to instantly evoke a reaction. Tobias Harris. Is he as washed as Tobias Harris?
I don't think Tobias Harris is washed.
Well, if you had a choice between Tobias Harris and Klay Thompson, who you taking?
Who's the team?
Okay, exactly. Enough said. It's not about the team.
No, I said it
if you wanted
does
to buy
because Klay only has one role. He's going to be a knockdown shooter. That's not Tobias Harris's role. That's not what Tobias. That's why the team matters. Tell me what team you're sending them to, and I'll give you an honest answer. If you're telling me the Lakers, I would take Klay Thompson. Why? Because they don't need another guy that's going to attack the rim. They already got Bron and AD for that. But if you're telling me you're going to send them to the Memphis Grizzlies, give me Tobias Harris because they need guys that can do more than just stand in the corner and shoot threes. See, teams matter. Where is he going to play? What's the roster build look like?
And you're making my point for me. Teams matter at this stage of their careers.
I agree.
Adding him to the
stage,
Orlando Magic, adding that veteran presence with this going through the playoffs with, and is still a sharpshooter, and who is going to be the third and in some games fourth option. You're crazy if you don't think this move puts them in the next level. And it makes so much sense.
You know where Klay would fit perfectly?
Philly. Shit. True.
That's one.
It's never gonna happen though. He's not going to a cold weather state.
That's one. The New York Knicks is two.
That's not gonna happen.
I agree, but I'm telling you,
he's not gonna go to cold weather state.
But that's where he fits because he gives those teams something they don't have. A guy on the outside who can knock down consistent shots that doesn't need to put the ball on the floor to get there. He just has to get to the spot. See, with Jalen Brunson running around doing all the stuff he's doing, you're going to get Randall back. You got all that attention to those guys. So now you're going to get Klay his open looks. You come to the Sixers, Embiid's going to soak up the middle. You got Maxey attacking the rim. You need a guy like Klay to stand out there, catch and shoot, which is what they wanted Tobias to be. But that's not Tobias's game.
Well,
That's where
Tobias,
Klay
at this
fits.
point, Tobias is dragging around one leg. Speaking of Tobias Harris, speaking of the New York Knicks, we obviously disagree on Klay. Sooner or later, like I like to say, sooner or later we'll see who profits. But speaking of the New York Knicks, speaking of Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. So Sixers lost 6 games to the New York Knicks. I thought they would beat the Knicks, but that was my
Mm-hmm.
Sixer part. I got to wrap it up in 5 minutes here. I saw something in that game 6 that I had never seen from Joel Embiid. I saw effort. I saw
Yeah.
effort. And it made me think, and you're going to laugh, but it made me think about my kids. When you have children, you have one child that's good at one thing, you have another child that's good at something else. You don't ask the child who's good at B to do A because they're just not good at it. Conversely, you're not going to ask the child that's good at A to do B because they're not good. That's not what they do. For the last 10 years, I have asked Joel Embiid to be good at A when he's really good at B. And I've become incensed, frustrated, enraged because he couldn't do A. Joel Embiid is not a 7'2 basketball player. He's not. He is a
No.
6'3 basketball player stuck in a 7'2
Stuck in a
basketball
7-2
player's
body.
body.
Yep. Yep. We agree.
The rebounds are, they're cheese on the burger at this point. They're not who he is. He's not going to get you the gut right. He's not going to dig in deep and get you the fourth quarter rebound. He's not going to get you, he's not going to make a clutch shot in the fourth quarter against a good team. But he is the perfect second piece to a championship puzzle. And some nights he can be your number one. And some nights he can give you what you need. But on most nights, he's not. So then the question is, how do you build a championship around this guy?
I got your answer. I got your answer.
Floor is yours. I won't even proceed. Floor is yours.
Ship him to Oklahoma City with SGA. He
All right,
fits
look.
perfectly. He
You
fits.
know what?
Hold on. Hear me out. Hear me out. Give
No,
me a
hold on.
minute.
I
Give me a
gotta
minute.
stop because we don't have time. Bro, the Sixers are not trading Joel Embiid. It's not gonna happen.
That's why they won't win. They said the same thing about Allen
Okay.
Iverson, and they traded him 2 years too late, and they were stuck in purgatory hell for 10 years. You
Well,
trade an
they
aging
traded
superstar.
AI because of business ramifications. He had started missing team or season ticket holder
He
funds.
had been missing team events his whole career. That didn't matter.
No, but he wasn't missing the important ones. He wasn't missing the important ones. The
Listen, the Sixers
business
could sweep that
ramifications of
over.
trading Joel Embiid, all those luxury boxes that are paid for, those suites, that are paid for, they're not going to do that.
I'm gonna
I
tell you
think.
why that's not true. Remember,
What?
I live here.
What?
People are at a point with Joel Embiid. Yes, it was amazing. He came out on one leg with Bell's palsy, and people say it's reactions from the COVID. We don't know all of that. That's great. At the end of the day, Joel Embiid is 10 years into his career and still has not got out of the second round. People are tired. He's a plus 30 superstar who's on the back end of his career, and he can't stay healthy. This is what you do. If you're smart, Morey said, I want to build not just for this year, but for the future. You've got a star in Maxey who's going to grow and only get better. You build around Maxey. I said it once. I will say it again. Joel Embiid's style of basketball will never win in today's NBA when the offense is catered around him. He's a great second option, but he'll never be a second option on this team because Maxey is the second best player. He won't ever be the first.
I disagree.
So
That's why I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop you.
What you do is you got to move them.
Well,
What does Nick Nurse have to do
we
with
got to
it?
move
Nick
past
Nurse,
that point because
show
the
me
Sixers
what
aren't going
center.
to.
Show me what center that. Show me what center. Or let's go this way. Show me what guard Nick Nurse developed into being the best player on the team when he got there.
That's a tough
Develops.
question. Well, no, hold on. It's a tough question because when he took the Toronto Raptors job over, first of all, he won something like 10 titles in the league he was coaching in.
Right.
And but so I can't go back to those records and say he did this. What I can tell you is what he did in Toronto was he was able to get Kyle Lowry to play at a level and find a way to impact the game without being a reliable 15-point a game scorer. He was able to get Pascal Siakam to up his scoring average, a guy who you wanted over Tobias, and you were right. I was wrong. They should have traded for Pascal. He was able to get his scoring average up, and he made him a reliable fourth quarter or clutch basket getter. He did something in the playoffs that no other coach has been willing to do. He ran the offense through Maxey in the fourth quarter. That's why this time I believe it can work. Now, I don't believe LeBron James is coming to Philly. It's
I
not,
don't either.
when the season started, I thought it was a crackhead dream. Now I think it's about 50-50. But I just don't. No one leaves LA for Philadelphia. Like, I'm in Cali now. No one leaves Cali for Philly. It doesn't happen. But I do like the prospect of adding Siakam. I do like the prospect of going possibly after Ingram. And I love the prospect of Nick Nurse having a full season to embrace what I have just embraced. He's not a 7-2 player. So you can't treat him like a center. You said, name me a center. He's not a center. My favorite player of all time, a rapper, one of my favorite players of all time is Dirk Nowitzki. One of my favorite players. I love Dirk Nowitzki. The year he won the title, do you know what his position was? The small forward.
Yeah.
Small forward. Sean Marion was the power. Tyson Chandler was the 5.
Right.
Joel Embiid is your small forward. He's not your
Stop
center.
it.
He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not.
That doesn't.
I got to get ready to go, but I'm gonna put it to you like to wrap it up like a bow. If you have a legitimate, it doesn't have to be. It could have been Nick Claxton. You had anybody that could rebound and allow Joel to stay out of that paint on defense and worry about Josh Hart in the corner, that changes that series completely. And Nick Nurse realized that. That's it for this episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk. He's got a lot that he wants to get off his chest. Maybe next time I'll get him to come back and I'll open up with him. That's it for this episode, though. We close it down. As always, we appreciate your time here. Until next time, be easy.
All right.